the massive exploitation network. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Previously, I've told you about the Hollywood sickness, a particular way of behaving which has gone beyond the environs of Hollywood and has permeated into the entertainment industry more widely in relation to certain cultural activities, in relation to politics and business as well. I've explained that it is narcissists that are driving this sickness. We've seen in recent years the allegations and ultimate conviction of Harvey Weinstein, the allegations that were made against Jeffrey Epstein, who was arrested and then died in custody, the allegations against Ghislaine Maxwell, who has found herself convicted and is currently in prison, the allegations against P. Diddy, which have now drawn in Jay-Z, that there have been allegations in relation to Russell Brand's behaviour, that there have been suggestions that there are many Hollywood notables that are connected with P. Diddy, who is similarly awaiting trial and finds himself incarcerated, but those Hollywood titans appear to be rather nervous, with many deleting social media accounts, some even moving to different countries. Could it be that the dominoes are starting to fall in relation to all of this? And moreover, might it have actually been the case that a massive exploitation network was highlighted some years ago, but was actually ignored by the judiciary, in fact dismissed by the judiciary and overseen, or rather overlooked, by the media? There are substantial allegations of trafficking, exploitation against many famous and noteworthy individuals, and the suggestion of a cover-up that has spanned decades. There is a lawsuit that was launched back in 2020. This lawsuit was brought by Charlene Latham, David Latham, Tracy Latham, John Doe 1 to 10, Jane Doe 1 to 5. So a substantial body of complainants. But who did they bring this case against? The list of defendants is a dramatis personae of corporate and personal wealth and power. It includes these defendants, and it's worth just going through them all. Something called the 1953 Trust. Harvey Weinstein, who has already been convicted and is in prison. Sean Carter, better known as Jay-Z, who has found himself on the receiving end of allegations which is recently refuted. Darren Indyke, Richard Kahn, the Weinstein Corporation, Miramax LLC, the Walt Disney Company, Def Jam Recordings, Rock Nation LLC, Universal Music Group, Beyoncé Knowles, Kanye West, Terence Thornton, better known as Pusha T, Black Cube Limited, Vivendi SA, Dwayne Carter, better known as Lil Wayne, Jean-Luc Brunel, Young Money Entertainment, Good Music, Shelley Massenberg Smith, David Bowers, Robert Kelly, R. Kelly, who also has been convicted, Milton Brown, Marcello Claw, Sprint Corporation, Viacom, CBS, Virgil Abloh, Qatar Investment Authority, Tutor Saliba Corporation, Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted and in prison, Parkwood Entertainment, City of New York NYPD, Sir Philip Green, Sony Entertainment, John Doe's 1 to 100, Jane Doe's 1 to 100, Corporation Doe's 1 to 100. Some 335 prospective defendants. What did that lawsuit allege? It alleged grievances and allegations against all the named defendants. It suggested a highly intricate and wide-reaching set of claims in respect of financial mismanagement or fraud involving trusts, alleged misconduct by individuals and corporations possibly connected to the entertainment, fashion, and corporate sectors, involvement of public entities like the City of New York and the NYPD, which may well suggest institutional failings. The sheer number and diversity of the defendants spanning multiple industries and individuals point to allegations involving interconnected relationships or conspiracies. It has high-profile defendants such as Harvey Weinstein, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Ghislaine Maxwell, among others, which suggests the case would delve into allegations of misconduct within elite circles. Areas of focus included sexual misconduct, corporate malfeasance, fraud, intellectual property disputes, or systemic failures. It involves certain defendants being accused of shielding individuals from ongoing criminal investigations, preventing the disclosure of compromising evidence, jeopardizing justice efforts, concealment of identities and criminal roles to evade justice. It includes allegations of surveillance, spying on the various plaintiffs, monitoring and harassing the plaintiffs through stalking, drugging and abduction, facilitating kidnappings and detainments, sexual assault and exploitation, extortion, corporations providing logistical and financial support to facilitate the behaviours, and money laundering. There's a suggestion of human trafficking and abuse allegations. Substantial redress was sought to the tune of $500 million. The lawsuit arose in 2020, and it actually resurfaced during the Maxwell trial. It challenges the fact that the public and the media appear to overlook revelations of significant consequence, because it accuses dozens of powerful individuals and entities with a decades-long alleged conspiracy involving sexual abuse, trafficking, financial exploitation, and psychological torment, all of which have apparently, according to the allegations, been covered up by some of the most influential figures in entertainment and business. The third plaintiff claims that she became the target of a criminal retaliation campaign after she refused her child, the first plaintiff, to be sexually exploited by the defendants. Her refusal, according to the allegations, triggered a violent and systematic attack on her family, an attack that included drugging and trafficking her children and grandchildren for the purposes of sexual exploitation. It's also alleged that the defendants engaged in economic abuses such as theft of intellectual property and career interference aimed at decimating the third plaintiff's family livelihood. At the centre of this web of criminal conduct was Jeffrey Epstein. He was represented by the 1953 Trust. Epstein, according to the lawsuit, initiated this scheme as revenge against the third plaintiff after she reached an out-of-court settlement in the late 1980s to resolve allegations of sexual abuse involving several of her children. Epstein, the lawsuit claims, misused funds from billionaire Leslie Wexner to cover the settlement costs. To recover the lost money, Epstein allegedly orchestrated a horrific scheme in which the children of plaintiffs 2 and 3 were trafficked to Epstein's infamous sex parties across the globe, and wealthy elites paid large sums of money to participate in these parties, where the plaintiffs' children were sexually exploited. These funds, according to the accusations, were allegedly funneled back to Epstein, allowing him to settle his debts with Wexner, all the while perpetuating unimaginable harm to the plaintiffs and their families. The allegations suggest that Epstein's abuse wasn't an isolated incident, but was enabled by an extensive network of corporate entities and individuals. The lawsuit contends that these parties, ranging from well-known corporations to high-profile individuals, benefited from and were complicit in the abuse, either through financial gain or by turning a blind eye. These parties allegedly helped facilitate the trafficking of plaintiff number 1 to exclusive sex parties hosted by Epstein at his various properties, including in the United States and the Virgin Islands. These events, the plaintiffs claim, were rife with exploitation and abuse, with a clear intention to commit criminal acts against them. Very, very serious allegations. And we know that in relation to Epstein, he was in prison awaiting trial and apparently committed suicide, or more likely was offed to stop him speaking out, because he had the potential to uncover many of the people, quite possibly many of the people that have been named in this particular lawsuit. But what became of this lawsuit? After all, we have the claims that are proceeding against P. Diddy. We have the claims that have originated against Jay-Z. There's a claim, for instance, against the Abercrombie and Fitch former CEO. But in relation to this claim, on the 18th of September 2020, it was dismissed. It was dismissed on the basis of it essentially being regarded as frivolous. And thus, the claim went no further forward. I'm not going to provide you with the ins and outs of the judicial ruling. You can look that up for yourself. But the fact is that many of the individuals named in this suit, whilst of course nothing was proven against them, are known narcissists. And you know that as a consequence of my work, that means that those individuals have no emotional empathy, that they're exploitative, that they operate with a sense of entitlement, that they have no boundary recognition, that they have no sense of accountability for their behaviours, that they need to pursue control over people and draw fuel from them, that they use people for the purposes of the prime aims, that people are objectified and commodified, that they will be exploited, abused, mistreated, trafficked, because it suits the needs of those individuals with no emotional empathy. And here we have a piece of litigation that barely saw the light of day because it was dismissed at an early stage. Essentially, the claim was viewed as frivolous because apparently it lacked an arguable basis, either in law or in fact. But it was never tried. Was it the case that powerful individuals managed to nullify this potential threat to control at an early stage, to have it removed? Perhaps it was frivolous, perhaps it was the wild rantings of a deluded individual, but given so much of what has been coming to light as of late with regard to P. Diddy, Jay-Z, certain stars, deleting social media, the dominoes falling, it raises the question, along with the fact that so many narcissists have been named in the lawsuit, might it actually have had some legitimacy? Might it actually have pointed to there being a massive exploitation network? What do you think? Do you think that this is the case, that many of those individuals named may well be involved in such a network which is governed and operated by a group of narcissists? That the narcissistic perspective drives that behavior to commodify people and misuse them in this way? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.